December 2022 will be remembered as a landmark moment in human history where countries came together to agree upon protecting nature and biodiversity. At least that's what climate change optimists would like to think. So let's go over what exactly happened and what this agreement entails. So countries came together in Montreal, Canada earlier in December of 2022 for the United Nations Biodiversity Conference called COP15. This is an international meeting among parties to the United Nations to set goals and develop an action plan on conserving nature around the world. The main objective of this conference was to adopt the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. You can find a link to this framework in the video description. COP15 ended with a monumental agreement to protect biodiversity through to 2030. It resulted in adopting the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. And this framework aims to address biodiversity loss, restoring ecosystems, and protecting Indigenous rights. The plan includes a target to protect more than 30% of the planet and degraded ecosystems by 2030. For reference, right now, only about 17% of the terrestrial environment and only 8% of marine areas are actually protected. A plan was also made to safeguard the rights of Indigenous peoples and recognize their contributions as stewards of nature. The Global Biodiversity Framework has 4 overarching objectives. Number 1 is to halt human-induced extinction of threatened species and reduce the rate of extinction of all species tenfold by 2050. The second objective is the sustainable use and management of biodiversity. Objective 3 is the fair sharing of benefits from utilizing genetic resources and the digital sequencing information from those resources. The fourth objective is that there would be adequate means of implementing the framework that is accessible to all parties, particularly those that are least developed and also small island nations. Some other targets included in this framework included restoring 30% of degraded terrestrial and marine ecosystems around the world, reducing near zero the loss of areas of high biodiversity and ecological integrity, to reduce global food waste by 50%, to phase out subsidies that harm biodiversity by at least $500 billion per year, while scaling up positive incentives for conservation and sustainable use, to mobilize at least $200 billion every year for biodiversity funding, and to require transnational companies and financial institutions to monitor, assess, and disclose the risks and impacts on biodiversity through their operations, portfolios, and supply and value chains. In general, I think the international reception has been very positive for this landmark deal, and I think it should be celebrated. Biodiversity is the foundation to life on Earth, and without it, we wouldn't survive. So it will be one of my goals in my YouTube channel to monitor and track the progress of how the world is doing in implementing this framework and protecting biodiversity. If you haven't already, please consider smashing the like button and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the biodiversity agreement, any questions you have about it, and also other topics I can cover in future videos. Peace out.